The next product I'm going to demonstrate to you is our Chainsaw Sharpening Kit. It's called kit because it has two components, one for sharpening the cutters and the other part for sharpening the depth guides. There are two parts to the chainsaw. Let me explain that first. You've got a cutter here, and opposite the cutter you've got a depth guide. The cutter is slightly higher than the top of the depth guide, and that's been set up by the manufacturer to be about 3/4 of a mil difference in height. And that ensures the correct sharpening operation for the chainsaw. So the first operation we've got is to sharpen the cutters. We've got a round file in a guide plate. The file is according to the size of the cutter on the chainsaw, and we're just going to run that file in the cutter. Here is the cutter, and we do this 3 or 4 times, forward stroke, and my eyes following the right angle, which is 30 degrees. I'm holding that line in my mind parallel to the line of the chain, and that is the angle that you need to sharpen each cutter to. I would then go round to the next cutter and do the same thing and round the chain. So that's sharpening the cutters. The second operation is making sure that the chain has, this is the cutter and this is called the depth gauge. This is called the depth guide, and the depth guide has been set up by the manufacturer to be about 3/4 of a mil, the top of it, 3/4 of a mil below the top of the cutter. To maintain that depth, that difference in height, we've got this little device, which is a depth gauge, and you simply put this depth gauge over the top of the chain like this. You can see that it lines up with the side of the cutter, and with each operation of the chainsaw, the tops of these cutters actually reduce in height, and so we just run our finger across the top here, and if the chainsaw has had quite a lot of use, then the top of that cutter will be slightly lower, and you will feel that with your finger, slightly lower than the actual gauge, which means that the 3/4 of a mil is now maybe 1/2 a mil or even less. And so that has to be corrected. The way to correct it is to take the flat file and to simply run it 4 or 5 times across the top of this depth gauge so that you maintain that 3/4 of a mil height between the two, just like that. And 4 or 5 strokes, because it's a powerful file, is sufficient to lower that by the necessary amount.